समर्पण हो, आत्मदर्शन हो, पूर्ण समर्पण हो, आत्मदर्शन हो। जब हृदय में बसे मेरी माता, जब हृदय में बसे मेरी माता हो, पूर्ण समर्पण हो, आत्मदर्शन हो, पूर्ण समर्पण हो, आत्मदर्शन हो। अपने दिल की कली जब सहज में खिली, अपने दिल की कली जब सहज में खिली, शिव की शक्ति हमें तब ही हासिल हुई। अपने दिल की कली जब सहज में खिली, शिव की शक्ति हमें तब ही हासिल हुई। इस प्रेम के सागर में जो भी बहा, इस प्रेम के सागर में जो भी बहा, कहे डूबा रहूं साहिल तू ना। अब तो मिल ही गया अनमोल जहां, अब तो मिल ही गया अनमोल जहां। जब हृदय में बसे मेरी माता, जब हृदय में बसे मेरी माता हो, पूर्ण समर्पण हो, आत्मदर्शन हो, पूर्ण समर्पण हो, आत्मदर्शन हो। अनुकंपा जभी ब्रह्मदेवा की हो, अनुकंपा जभी ब्रह्मदेवा की हो, ज्ञान निर्मल तभी हमसे बहने लगे। अनुकंपा जभी ब्रह्मदेवा की हो, ज्ञान निर्मल तभी हमसे बहने लगे। संतुलन ईड़ा पिंगला में ऐसा बने, संतुलन ईड़ा पिंगला में ऐसा बने। कर्म करते नहीं है ये होते स्वदे, ऐसी होनी से जीवन भी तीर्थ बने, ऐसी होनी से जीवन भी तीर्थ बने। जब हृदय में बसे मेरी माता, जब हृदय में बसे मेरी माता हो, पूर्ण समर्पण हो, आत्म दर्शन हो, पूर्ण समर्पण हो, आत्म दर्शन हो। गणेशा स्वयं माँ के द्वार बसे, श्री गणेशा स्वयं माँ के द्वार बसे, भोलेपन में स्वयं को ही अर्पित किए। श्री गणेशा स्वयं माँ के द्वार बसे, भोलेपन में स्वयं को ही अर्पित किए। शुद्धता और विवेक की मूरत बने, शुद्धता और विवेक की मूरत बने, इतनी शक्ति वो दे कैसे अनुमान हो। हो कृपा हम पर इच्छा शुद्ध हो अगर, हो कृपा हम पर इच्छा शुद्ध हो अगर, जब हृदय में बसे मेरी माता, जब हृदय में बसे मेरी माता हो, पूर्ण समर्पण हो, आत्म दर्शन हो, पूर्ण समर्पण हो, आत्म दर्शन हो। जब हृदय में बसे मेरी माता, 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 मेरी माता, मेरी माता, मेरी माता, मेरी माता, मेरी माता, मेरी माता।
Good evening, everybody, and welcome again. This is the 18th session of Sahaja Yoga online meditation. Hello, welcome for tonight's session. Our focus will be on our spiritual path. We learn more about what is this path and how to fearlessly follow it without worry or doubt. Yesterday in our session, we focused on our Nabi and Void chakras, the center of peace and the place where we find our oneness with ourselves, where we're our own masters. And once we've established these qualities within us, within these chakras, it becomes easier to understand ourselves on a deeper level. So throughout our lives, it's suggested to us that there's not much more than the mundane lifestyle, nothing bigger than ourselves. But like a seed, the knowledge of becoming a tree is already built within us. It exists within our spirit and within our subtle system. It always has, and it always will. So through clearing our chakras and through reaching a state of thoughtless awareness, we can understand this path a lot more clearly. It's like the clouds clear. It becomes more than just a mental understanding. It's sort of within. Within. Yeah. For example, when I go quiet within myself through meditation, when I reach this state and it's sustained and I'm in there and my thoughts disappear, I can come out of this meditation when I open my eyes and I start to move about and go back to my everyday life. This feeling can remain, and the thoughts are non-existent. And I find that everything I do within that day is filled with joy. I do it without needing to think about it. I do it with purpose and with knowing, without even fully understanding. We don't need to think about it. It becomes almost effortless, like we're floating while our body is doing everything it needs to, and we're just enjoying. So for tonight, we have Barindir, and he will be speaking about how to become fearless within our spiritual path and guide us through a meditation which focuses on this topic today. So before we start, as always, I'll just ask if there's anyone in the session this evening that has never joined a session before. Just send a message in the group chat and you'll be tended to. So yes, thank you. And Barindir, whenever you're ready, take it away.
Thank you very much, Carmen. Really wise words, was so enlightening. Hear all that. And every time you hear, you just something new comes out of these conversations. And you feel it's always new. This knowledge is always new, it doesn't go stale. So pretty much, and that's what I experience as well. So it's my privilege and honor to actually present this program today. So look, again, for the housekeeping, I'll just quickly say that, as Carmen mentioned, that if there are new starters who have joined first time, if you're looking for to go through the process of self-realization, please reach out via the chat and you could be taken through the process of realization in the breakout rooms. So I will assume people who have joined today have been through that process, and I talk from that perspective. So a little bit about myself. So I have been practicing Sahaja Yoga for last 14 years now. And as I said, every day is new. So whenever you go into the experience, you discover something new about yourself. And that's what I feel. So it's definitely a journey that keeps evolving you and giving you that state where you do things, you don't judge things, you don't judge people, you pretty much do what you need to do, and things work out. So this energy is such this energy is so efficient that it knows everything about you. You're sort of born out of it, so it knows everything about you. And if you make an honest effort, if you are ethical, if you are morally right, you do the right things, and you have a value and purpose, then things just work out. And that's what my experience is. So without further ado, maybe we can go into the presentation. So if I ask, could I request the technical team to actually bring up the slides? Oops, maybe we can go back. Thank you. That's better. So I just wanted to start off, whenever I, present a program and I think about Sahaja Yoga, the first thing that comes to my mind is realize yourself and understand the true meaning of your existence. And I know, like, we have covered a lot of subjects. We've gone through some of the basic stuff. We've gone a lot of detailed, deep stuff as well. And the presenters have been really good. They have done full justice to the previous presentations. But what I'll do is I'll quickly take you through pretty much a little bit of introduction, and then we can go on from there. So maybe I think it'll be a good idea, like, most of you are aware how to take the bandhan, raise our kundalini. So maybe we can start off our session with that. So let's do that together. So obviously you keep your left hand pretty much at the base of your spine, right at the bottom. You rotate your right hand around it, and from back to forward, and then raise your kundalini. So it is more like, as previous presenters have mentioned, it's not a ritual. It's pretty much a way of bringing your attention to where it needs to be, right at top of the head. So let's do that together. So let's raise our kundalinis. So very slowly, we tie one knot above our head. We do it second time. And this time we tie two knots. And the third time, we tie three knots. Now, this is a way of bringing your attention above your head. Establish your attention there. And then we move our hand around from left to right and take a bandhan. Now, this is a sort of protection. And when the vibrations start flowing in your hands, these vibrations sort of form a protection around you. So that's what we do. So that our attention is kept intact, and we have more awareness of ourselves, and this protection is always around you to take you on the right path. So let's do that quickly. Okay, could we please move on to the second slide? So we have heard about Srimadaji, Nirmala Devi, and we've heard that she is the founder. She developed this Sahaja Yoga meditation technique, which is very unique, in 1970. She traveled all over the world educating people. And of course, today, millions enjoy the benefit in over 100 countries. So what I see Srimadaji is like a catalyst for the Kundalini. So she's not just the founder, but she is the one, when you actually express your desire in front of Srimadaji, she acts as a catalyst where your Kundalini resonates or recognizes her, and it gets awakened. Now, hundreds and thousands of people express their desire in front of Srimadaji, and she awakened Kundalini energy, and that happened spontaneously. So that's how it all started. And there are so many hundreds and thousands of people, like, all around the world practicing and having that plain simple experience of Kundalini awakening, and the state of joy and thoughtlessness. So hence, when we actually do the meditation, it's important that we keep the photo of Srimadaji in front of us. I think it is very important we establish a place in our house where we can actually have an established place to put Srimadaji's photo, like a corner in your house, in a room where you keep it, like create an altar, just keep it nicely, uh, give it a lot of respect. We do light up a candle in front of Shivaji's photo. And that's pretty much using the elements, which is the fire and the light element, which brings more awareness within us. So it's, lightening our within. So I would strongly suggest, before I move on to the next slide, that people who have been joining and have been doing this session, try and establish a permanent place for Shivaji's photo, create an altar, and every morning and evening, if you light up a candle when you sit for meditation, it will really help. Could we please move on to the next slide? Now, one thing I come across, and I do a lot of sessions, at work as well, in the corporate environment, and obviously out there in the community as well. And one thing it is that I find is really important is people sometimes don't understand the true meaning of meditation. Pretty much when I actually started meditation, and before that, I didn't have much idea what the meditation is. So I heard, like, it's always focusing on something. So maybe either chanting a mantra, or maybe we are focusing on something. We are going to these 10-day camps, maybe standing on one leg or whatever. But pretty much everything that came across to me was like, using your mind, focusing on things and stuff. But and hence why, like, when I came to Sahaja, I realized how unique this is. So it is not a mental thing. It is a happening within us. And it is a happening which actually takes us through, we evolve in terms of, we go through, all the chakras and all that. And it takes us into a space where we actually go beyond our mind, and we are fully aware and completely thoughtless. Maybe I can try to explain it a little bit better in the next slide. Okay. So I say that you are in meditation when you are completely thoughtless. You've heard that before from the previous presenters as well, hopefully. So what happens is, let's think about our mind. Like, we are constantly bombarded with thoughts in our mind all the time. So our mind becomes a little bit of pendulum. So rather than what we need to achieve from meditation is, we come to the present moment, experience the here and now. Before we have experienced it, our mind is always either going into the past or into the future, and we go through a lot of thought waves. So if we see in the diagram there, there are thought waves. So, like, as I said, hundreds and thousands of thoughts that go through your mind. One moment, a thought wave may come and it may take you into a state of elation. And very next moment, another thought may take you into, into a depression state. Maybe it's very extreme, but, like, you could be sad and all that. So thoughts just take you from one end to the other, and very extreme sometimes. Now, what, of course, meditation does is, when the Kundalini is awakened through Sahaja Yoga meditation, and it takes us beyond our mind, so it creates a gap between those thought waves. Initially, that gap could be a few seconds. And when you actually practice the meditation, you can pretty much increase that gap. Now, that gap is where you are completely aware of yourself, and you're in the present moment. And that's what happens when the Kundalini is awakened. So it is not using your mind to go beyond your mind, but pretty much you're allowing this mother energy to take you beyond your mind. And that is very important to understand, because a lot of people get lost in that. Like, focusing on something definitely helps. Like, I tell people in the corporate world that even if you get onto a treadmill, and, that may help you slow down your thoughts. So essentially, if you're focusing on something, definitely it helps you slowing down your thoughts. Like, we start off with a bit of breathing and focusing on that. That's really helpful. But we haven't reached the state of meditation that, like, we have, yes, slowed down our thoughts, but the thoughts are still there. But only by allowing the mother energy, the Kundalini energy, to take you beyond that, you're actually going to a proper state of meditation. We can move on to the next slide. So what happens, like, through these thoughts that we are constantly bombarded with, it creates a lot of confusion in our mind, first of all. Eventually, it creates a lot of fear. As shown in the slide here, ego and attachment. So what creates that fear in our mind? So through these thoughts, like, if we are doing something, uh, we sort of create, like, ego in our mind, which creates a bubble in our mind. Then another thing is, like, we have lot of attachments as well. It could be at a very gross level, or you could have very subtle attachments to things as well. It's important to be aware of those things, because what happens is, like, we are always in the fear of losing something. We are attached to things, and we get so attached, it gets so subtle that we don't even know when the fear kicks in and we start to lose our confidence. So one thing I've experienced through meditation is, whenever I experience that state, and no matter what you do, like, we are all on a journey, I go through those moments as well when the fear kicks in. Now, Sahaja Yoga is so practical. You can sit down anywhere and you can raise your Kundalini, and suddenly you start to feel that bubble is busting, like, that ego is going away. You're going beyond those attachments. You're feeling that state of joy. And that once that fear is removed, it's complete confidence, because you are connected with yourself, which is the source of your confidence, and like, making you fearless. So always, it's very practical. Like, even I practice in terms of my work as well. Whenever I'm going for like, any important piece of work, or I have, like, sudden panic about something, I try to slow down, like, take a few deep breaths, go into a state of meditation for a couple of minutes. It helps me go beyond that state of fear, and suddenly I feel okay, like, the energy is flowing in, and I feel that nourishment, which really helps me move forward and take the next step. With that, maybe we can move on to the next slide. Thank you. So I'm sure you would have all seen the body chart before. That's pretty much central nervous system. So today I really want to touch on pretty much the confidence, so which is at the level of heart. So which is number 4, which is at the level of heart here, the center heart. Just give me 1 second. Okay. So when the Mother Kundalini is awakened and it reaches our heart chakra, definitely nourishes that chakra, and it opens up that heart chakra, which obviously helps removing any of the fear that we have accumulated. And we experience, of course, like, the heartbeat, like, goes really fast, strong, whenever we are experiencing fear. So when the Kundalini is passing through that chakra, it opens up that chakra. What we experience is a state where we feel very confident. We feel love and compassion, and we feel very secured once this chakra is actually nourished by the Kundalini. So over and over, when we do meditation every day, over time, you feel that the more this chakra is nourished, all those insecurities sort of leave you, and you feel a lot more confidence. You not only feel love for yourself, you feel a lot of love and compassion for other people as well. Now, I really want you to hear from Shrimadaji, and we'll play this short video. I would really request you to pay full attention and hear from Shrimadaji about the spirit. So while we are getting ready for the video, I just wanted to say, like, I guess we're there. Okay.
In this totality, a world has to be created of people, by the people, who have no fear. This fear has to be. Behind all this nonsensical nervousness is fear. So for that, what she does is to give Abhaydan. Under her protection, you are beyond fear, you are protected. But if you don't want to believe in yourself and you don't believe into her protection, then nobody can help you. Because everything is mythical for you. In every venture that we take up, we should not have any fear because God is with you, is a fact, is the truth. You just try. But when you try through your ego, you fall into the trap of fear. I have seen egoistical people are the most frightened people and panicked because they panic others and so they think they can be panicked one day. When the English were here, first of all, in England, India, we were all frightened of them. Now, I see that in England, every English family is frightened of others. They'll only open a chink of the door to see who is there and shut it. They're so frightened. I'm surprised they are the same English who ruled us here. And we were so peevish before them. And now they are the ones who are frightened of us. Because when a person who is egoistical tries to dominate others, he sees himself in the mirror and thinks that the other person will dominate. That's how this fear creeps in into our minds, and we start getting all kinds of these stupid tantrums out of this mythical fear. The fear is created by our ego. A person who has no ego, he'll have no fear because he has not harmed anyone. Why should you have any fear? And such a man or such a woman will be looked after by God because God takes over. When you surrender your ego to God, He takes over. But those who have ego, He says, all right, go ahead. Use your ego, try to protect yourself, cut your throat. That's what it is. So when I talk of total benevolence, I am talking about your own total benevolence. So first is the fear, which should go out of your mind completely if you believe in the Almighty God. We'll say, you are Almighty God, you are Almighty this thing. It's all lip service. If you believe that God is Almighty and you are connected with God, then why should you have any fear of anything? But when we say don't have fear, another extreme comes up. We don't have fear, we can do what we like, we can perform everything ourselves, we need not tell anyone. You have to tell God whatever you are doing. You have to take permission, you have to inform in His darbar, in His court, that sir, we are thinking of doing such and such. But you think you are God? You are not. And that's why the another part of non-fear is this kind of an arbitrary behavior, which is very dangerous for Sahaja Yoga, for yourself, or for everybody else. The second fear, I have is that if I tell you anything, 99% of
Okay, so I believe that video didn't play all the way through. Was around 5 minutes or so, but that's okay. So essentially, what Srimadaji was talking here was that, and as I mentioned, like, once you come to that level of heart, your Kundalini has actually risen and open up your heart chakra. Uh, it automatically happens. Your fear goes away. And whenever you experience, as I said, uh, we go through various experiences and all that stuff. Whenever you experience that fear, pretty much just by going simply in meditation for a few minutes, you feel that suddenly you'll see that fear is going away. So it's important to understand that ego and all these attachments and everything else which create fear in your mind are very mythical. It's our own creation, or maybe it's the creation of our mind, our thoughts. But Kundalini actually helps us rise above that myth. Now, when we so our spirit, so when we go into meditation and we feel our own spirit, so we pretty much lose our own identity in terms of the identity that we have created through our own mind. So we tend to introduce ourselves that I do such and such, and I'm in such and such profession. This is who I am. Whereas once you go into the meditation, you lose all that identity. You're very well aware of yourself. However, you come to a level where you become the spirit. And you also experience that ever emitting joy of spirit, which is happening all the time. But because we are clouded by these thoughts, we are not able to experience that. Now, spirit resides in our heart. So it is a very important chakra that, we realize ourselves, we go into that state where we feel the joy of our spirit. Our heart opens up, gives us confidence, and then we start to experience that more and more. You may be doing things we talk that term out of box. You face into a problem, you sometimes tend to become a part of that problem, through your fear, through your thoughts and all that, and you sort of get entangled in those things. Whereas we talk about out of box, so it is that state, when you actually go into that state where you become a spirit, you're out of that problem. So just by watching anything, just by looking at a problem, you find miraculously you'll find solutions, or things start resolving itself. Now, I really want you to understand a little bit about spirit as well. So we have another video of Srimadaji that we would like to play. Again, I would request your complete attention, and let's hear from Srimadaji. Could we have the second video, please? Now, after this video, I'll take you through, a bit of affirmation, like couple of affirmations as well, which help you, stay in that thoughtless state. One thing is very important to understand, that, Mother Kundalini is nourishing us from within, and it provides us the right guidance as well. So, you feel that, sometimes we feel, is this right, or this not right, or you're always in that state where you're trying to figure out, and one thing could be right as per your perspective. However, it could be different from somebody else's perspective. Let's hear from Srimadaji.
Be honest to yourself. You have no business to cheat yourself for anything whatsoever. If you are hypnotized, awaken yourself. Arise and find what is the best, absolute, and the only thing that you have to find: your spirit. Your spirit resides in the heart. It is the reflection of God Almighty. It enjoys itself by itself. It is the spectator of the work of its power, the Holy Ghost. It watches you and is called as the knower of the field. It knows what you are doing, what are your aspirations, what mistakes you are committing. It goes to a long extent to forgive and forgive and forgive. Forgiveness is one of the qualities of the Spirit. It forgives you and says, it will work out. It will come now. But when you go too far, say if you pay too much attention to your physical being or to your mental being, if you try to think too much, the Spirit indicates its displeasure and you get a heart attack. Heart attack comes to you through displeasure of the Spirit. If the Spirit is angry with you, you get a heart attack. That means you have neglected your spirit, you have paid attention to things which are not important. You have looked after things which are not important. You have not worried about yourself about the Spirit, about your seeking. Even if you lost, say in any fanatic behavior of reading some books and things and taking out certain things, remembering them by heart and then having an argument and course on it and all that. In all genuineness and goodness, but stupidity, then also you can get heart attack. Heart is very important. It sometimes gives you first warning by giving you a partial paralysis, because in the heart a sort of a resentment is created by the Spirit, which creates a clot, and that clot, when it goes into the brain, you get a partial paralysis, so that you do not move any further. Your attention is taken to it. Then you start thinking of God, thinking of all the things, and maybe if you come to Sahaja Yoga, you get cured, because again your Spirit forgives you. We are taking too much liberty with our Spirit. It is true, God has given you freedom, and He is not going to take away your freedom at any cost. You have to be absolutely free to choose whether to go to heaven or to go to hell. He is not going to force you. Only thing one can do is to explain to you and tell you that this is the way you go to hell. Even then, if you want to go, then what can anybody do about it? Even God, He doesn't want to challenge your freedom at all. He doesn't want to make you in any way bound to Him, like some people are bound, just bound without understanding. But He wants your complete liberation. So first stage is that you have to choose your liberation through your own freedom of choice. Now, up to this point, till you were human beings, there was no choice for you. But after becoming a human being, you were given the choice because you could develop well to understand what is right and wrong in your own freedom, so that you can enter into the kingdom of God as people who are free and have chosen good in their own glory and in their own freedom. This is the only small little step where we always confuse our freedom with our ego. For example, now this hall is here, say, for me to speak. Right? Somebody comes from outside who has been sort of worked up in some sort of an organization and thinks that he's doing the greatest work in the whole world in such a myth. comes down here in that ego state, sits down here, asks me questions after questions, questions after questions, questions after questions, doesn't allow anybody else to speak, takes away all my time to himself, as if this hall is booked by him and all the audience is gathered by him. He is least bothered as to see that this is an ego that is working. So we should not confuse our freedom with ego. That's what I have to give you a counsel. Try to differentiate your ego from your freedom. When you are ego bound, you are a slave of your ego. When you are super ego bound, you are a slave of your super ego, of your conditioning. For example, you are born a Christian, you are a Christian. You are gone forever then. Alright, you are a Christian, but what about real Christianity within you? What about your rebirth in the real sense of the word? So you become enslaved to these things, so there is no freedom. And spirit is the freedom, is the free being within us. It is detached. It cannot be killed. It cannot be blown away. It cannot be burnt away. It is eternal, anant. It is eternal. That spirit is joy. That spirit is the source of joy. That emits joy. Joy is different from happiness and unhappiness. Ego, when it feels pampered, it feels happy. I like it, I like it. This I business is ego pampering. That is not joy, because you like to drink today and tomorrow you don't like to have a headache. It has the double side of I like and I don't like. You like something through your ego, dislike through your super ego. So it is a one coin and they have two faces, one is happiness, another is unhappiness. Joy is beyond that. Joy is a drama. Seer is a witness. You see a drama, you know it's a drama going on, you just watch it as a drama. You are not involved and you are seeing it and enjoying it. You are crying if you see something, you are weeping, but you know you are not that. It's a drama. Seer, the witness. Your spirit is the witness. And when you become the spirit, you become the witness. You become the witness. For example, you are seeing something through a window. There's something exists in the window, for example. Now you enter inside the room and you see through the window. Your conditioning is like one wave arising in you as a thought which comes from the past. It rises again, another thought comes up and goes in the past. First the past thought is there and then another future thought is there, it disappears. You see the thought rising but you can't see the disappearing of the thought. In between that is the present. That's the place is established, that present is established when your attention becomes enlightened by the Spirit. Either you think of the future or of the past. But I say now, at this moment, at the present, you cannot stand there because your spirit is not enlightened. Because spirit is the present. When you get your realization, you find that you are not thinking of the future or the past, you are just enjoying. Everything becomes different. The whole life becomes a drama and the joy out of it starts coming out. And you really enjoy small things here and there. And you really understand how much joy was lost before realization. This is not your mental thing that gives you joy. But the joy pours on you from your head just like this, a cool thing starts pouring down. As some people have a feeling of the tension rising up It's the same way a cool sort of thing, flow of joy you feel in your whole body pours out. Sometimes this cool breeze that rises in the head also starts becoming like a fountain pouring down that joy. You look at the pictures, for example, see this star of Moses. You see David's star, you see that. When you see that, you can think about it. Or else you just watch this. Watch it and don't think. The joy of the creation of that thing, whole thing, becomes one with you. Like all the creation around, a lake is completely felt in the lake if the lake has no ripples. Completely. In the same way, all that is joy. The Creator, whosoever it may be, has put there. You get the complete joy within yourself because there is no thought. There is no barrier, no conditioning. The whole thing becomes one with you and you start feeling extremely happy, extremely joyous. A feeling which is indescribable. It is to be just enjoyed, to be felt. Like Kabira was asked, why don't you speak now? So he says in Hindi language, he's one of the terrific poets we have. He says, Jab mast hue fir kya bole? When I have gone into the nectar of the intoxication, of the spirit, now what can I talk? There's no word. No cup can fill this joy. No words can fill this meaning. You better be with me and get it and enjoy yourself. That's all he could say.
Thank you. That was such a beautiful talk. Maybe if we can play the slideshow, we can jump onto slide 7 if you don't mind. Thank you. Now, how well it was explained by Shamalaji, that was really fantastic. And that's the experience you have when you're actually in that state where you have crossed over your mind. Now, one thing I really find easy, and I like, saying an affirmation on heart, and I want to take you through that, which really helps feeling that state of joy in our heart. So if we can place our left hand towards the photo, and if we can put our right hand on our heart, on the left side, of course. And to open the heart, we say an affirmation by saying, Mother, I am the Spirit. So when you're doing that, you put your complete attention on your heart, where your hand is, and watch the photo without thinking, and say that in your heart a couple of times. After a few seconds, you can close your eyes and say that a few times. Mother, I am the Spirit. I'm not this body. I'm not this mind. But I am the pure Spirit. Now, this affirmation is particularly very, very helpful. When we try and be honest to yourself. So when you say any of these affirmations, and we have taken you through all the affirmations to nourish each chakra, just try and be honest. Don't do it anything mechanically. Don't be superficial about it. Just express your pure desire, because the Kundalini actually understands your desire. and then it starts to work out. It's not that hard. It's just being genuine. Now, I think I was touching on point before the talk of Shmataji that Mother Energy starts nourishing us from within. And it guides us in the right direction. So that's right. I would say, think of it like, I mean, it's very empowering. So it empowers us to make the right decisions. So, once you're on that path, you're in that state and there is no fear, automatically, when you're connected with your spirit, you would do the right thing. So you sort of, Mother touched on that we go into a state of witness, we surrender our ego, and everything then we do is taken care of. So, like, you get that guidance from within, and you so much so that reflection of divine, you feel in your heart that it guides you through all the problems or the issues that you may be facing, or any decisions you need to make. You will find that these vibrations, that awareness helps you take those right decisions. If we so what you'll feel is, obviously, if you're in that state of meditation, if we are going against the principles, so any of the principles of each chakra, we have qualities of each chakra. So if you're going against any of those qualities, you'll start to feel a tingling sensation, or maybe warm breeze or something, or maybe a twitching on your fingertips. What a beautiful thing. Like, you're so much empowered that on your fingertips if you're going against the principle on any of the chakras. And it's very easy then to just go into that state of meditation and correct that. One thing really works is, like, if we put our hands, left hand again towards the photo, and one thing I do quite a lot, if I'm not able to stop my thoughts, what I do is simply put my hand on the forehead and just say a few times, Mother, I forgive this thought. So any thoughts that are taking you away from the present moment, without thinking, you say a few times, Mother, I forgive this. I don't want to think. I forgive this thought. So one thing it helps you with is, you're not reacting to everything. Whereas you feel very quickly, you go into a state where you're just witnessing, as Mother mentioned. Now, with that, I would really want you to hear another talk, a short talk from Shimadaji about being your own mother. So tech team, if you can play that, please. Now, again, I would request you, please maybe have your hands open on your lap, facing upward, and watch the photo and pay full attention to this talk. Thank you.
All the clashes, all the problems of human beings are because they are not what they talk. Ideals are out of their life. That is how a Sahaja Yogi will show himself up compared to anybody else. Take an example, say, of Abraham Lincoln. All right? Abraham Lincoln believed that everybody must have freedom and the government should be for the public, for the people. Whatever he taught, he practiced it. Whatever he believed in, he worked it out. Gave his life for it. That's why he's a great man. Think of Mahatma Gandhi. They were not like Christ incarnations. Think of any great man. Think of Shivaji Maharaj. Any one of the saints. They were human beings. But once they knew this is the principle on which we have to live, They become one with the principles. They do not compromise. So what Sahaja Yogi has to be, that we should understand. A Sahaja Yogi is a person who has got realization through the Kundalini. And Kundalini is the mother Houdini, is the caring, nourishing power. But mother will never compromise with the son. If he wants to kill somebody, she'll say no. I mean, a real mother. She will even shoot that son who tries to do wrong things. In the same way, if you become the mother of yourself, then you have to look after yourself in the same manner that you nourish yourself. And all others also. You have to nourish them, care for them, and do not compromise with wrongdoings, unrighteous things, absurd things.
Thank you for playing that talk. Please, could we bring the slideshow back and we can jump on to slide 7 again? Now, in conclusion, I really would like to have a brief sort of meditation session. So let's go into the meditative mode. So I would really request you to open your hands, place them on your lap, facing upward towards the photo. Slowly, maybe just let's watch the photo without thinking for a few seconds. And we'll play a music, which is especially the music to open up our heart chakra. Now, while listening to the music, you can then close your eyes for a few minutes and try and keep your attention up above your head, please. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining this session with me today. With that, I hand it over to the MCs. Really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Barinder. Amazing presentation. It's we've had I feel we've had a lot of really great presentations over this whole 21-day course. Really nice, amazing ones. But when once in a while you'll get this, you have a few presentations here and there that are just of a different caliber, very, very thoroughly thought through, and coming with a lot of knowledge, very clear cut and succinct. And I feel this is really one of them. So yeah, thank you so much again, Barinder, for just such an amazing presentation. Yeah, it really doesn't leave me with much to add or much to say. I feel everyone's pretty satisfied with this one. So yeah, really awesome. I will say a couple things just to touch on, just more personal stuff. But yeah, talking about just the heart and everything. I know Barinder mentioned earlier on about really taking a second. Sometimes, if the day gets very hectic and you're very stressed out and it's very stressful, just taking a second to really, we talked about this yesterday as well, just taking a second to really silence yourself, stop moving, just and to go inside and really calm yourself and confirm within yourself that all is well, all is okay, and like we were saying, I am the spirit. Something like that is even though it's very simple words, but it's such a powerful mantra, such a powerful sentence to say, I am the spirit, because it confirms it's saying so much more. It's saying that, that all these things around me, all of these material things, all the stress I'm experiencing, all of these fluid things that change from day to day don't matter. And that, I am the spirit, that I am the one thing that is consistent throughout my life and for all time, is that, that pure self, that pureness within us. And so, yeah, I think, introducing that mantra today is, it's quite useful. I would encourage everyone really to, take that on board and to also take into account just how important the heart chakra is. I've noticed personally, just within myself recently, I've really been trying to work on my center heart, and not confidence. Like when we say confidence and when we say being fearless and everything, they're very they can seem very basic concepts, but if we go deeper, especially in Sahaja Yoga, it's confidence becomes then the confidence in yourself that you are who you are, and your confidence in the choices that you have made, and confidence in the direction that you're going, and just confidence that you can go through the day without being flustered or being pushed down by anything else. And so anyways, just thought I'd share that. What else? Not much else. Like I said, I think a lot was touched on, and it's a really great presentation. I just wanted to ask, actually, so I know we talked about very briefly, just like I was saying before, about taking a second and really confirming within ourselves, and then moving on as a short-term remedy for any problems that we might be facing with the heart chakra. But I wanted to ask Barinder, just personally, do you have any experiences you could share with all of us in terms of long-term remedies or long-term processes that you go through just to really strengthen and to to solidify that center heart and that confidence?
One thing that has worked really well with me is maintaining that discipline. So giving it a priority, like, we give priority to, we try a lot of things, like, be truthful to yourself. If you find that, what I ask myself is, like, throughout my journey, I've been through a lot of things, but finally I found something where I've experienced something unique. So be honest to that, like, and as I said, like, every day and every alternate day, I'm doing presentations at work, and I still feel nervous every day, 5 minutes before. So this is very practical. Like, when I go into that state of meditation a couple of minutes before, it really helps me.
Mhm.
Now, I believe it with a lot of confidence, like, you feel that you can say that fearlessness, like, doing the right thing. And it's always at the back of my mind as well, like, when I'm dealing with my own staff, like, how I should be behaving, how can I empower them as well. So I've run a lot of sessions at work as well. Lately, we have gone through COVID, we have gone through a lot of situations where people have gone through a lot of stress and a lot of fear. So I do make my humble effort to actually take them through, do sometimes, like, those regular sessions with them as well. But in a way, I feel that helps me. So really, if I come back to your question, if you really do this, you deepen your experience, then try to give it to other people.
Mhm.
More you do that, more you develop your own confidence in the long run. The blessings come in many folds. And as soon as you do that to someone else, you remove that fear for someone else, you automatically feel the fearless state, pretty much. That's about it. I think that's what I do.
Yeah, no, that's very, very good answer. Yeah, thank you so much for that. Yeah, awesome presentation. So I actually today also, just in addition, wanted to share some new information. I'll just share my screen. So I know that we've been after every presentation going and looking at the resources and everything. I trust everyone can see my screen. Yeah, all right, oh good. So I wanted to show actually something new now. If you haven't already looked on the website of your own accord, I wanted to show just a couple of links over here. So if we go on the freemeditation.com.au, then we can go over here to, if we highlight this streaming and classes thing up here, and we just scroll down over to these two things here. So we've got Australian classes, these programs are being streamed and curated in Australia. So we have a lot more access to Australian classes. So here are all of the classes just for every state. So say if we go into New South Wales, a lot of classes in New South Wales. So let's scroll down over here. So we've got the eastern suburbs and the city area over here. So in Bondi Junction, in Paddington, Hornsby, Manly, like basically just a ton of places. So you can see like the addresses for all of these places, when it's happening. So very useful stuff. And then for all the other Australian states. We also have worldwide classes. So these, so for those of us, I think it's actually the majority of the people watching from the international community. We have, for the most part, I think we have the classes shown for every country. I say I'll click on Canada and just see what happens. I think it's going to take us to the Canadian website. Hopefully it works. Yes. Oh, I'll just move this screen over here. Yeah. So and so on this Canadian website, you can just see all of the Canadian provinces and territories that are doing programs and classes and everything. Click on them and see if you can get in touch. Again, if because all of these websites are independent, like we're not necessarily running all of the websites for all of the different countries. So if you have any problems or any questions about how to navigate them, or if you want, like you don't understand how you can find the classes, just again message us on the WhatsApp group. Me or Carmen or another experienced yogi will get back to you. And that's about it for today. Thank you all for coming. Thank you Birinder again for such an amazing program. It was, yeah, personally as well. I enjoyed it so much. Very, very insightful and very informative. I learned a lot as well. So yeah, I'm hoping everyone else did too. Yeah, I think that's it. Carmen, if you wanted to add anything just before we sign off.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that was amazing. Incredible, actually. In one of the talks, she was explaining, Mother Shrimataji, that it's something that you can't really explain with words, this joy that you feel from your spirit. And I experienced that tonight in our meditation. It was, I can't explain. It was just beautiful. You could feel it almost showering on you, So thank you. Truly, thank you so much. And I have nothing else to add. I'm blissed out.
Yeah, no, that's so good. Yeah. So yeah, thanks again, everyone. Yeah, really nice, especially to have this kind of, again, like a high caliber, really like informative and thoroughly thought through presentation, especially in the last week of the 21-day program. Yeah, after this, I think 3 more days, if I'm not mistaken, after this to go, until we sadly come to an end with this program. But yeah, I won't keep everyone for too long. So yeah, thanks again for coming. Have any questions, put on the WhatsApp group. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. And until tomorrow, we'll see you later. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you.
Goodbye, good night, or good day.
O Shri Ganesha, you are the beginning and the end. Please bless us in the morning.
Shri Mataji, Queen of Light, O Holy Virgin, clad in purest white.
Shri Mataji, Queen of Light, O Holy Virgin, clad in purest white.
Shri Mataji, Queen of Light, O Holy Virgin, clad in purest white. Shri Mataji, Queen of Light, O Holy Virgin, clad in purest white.
Unlock heaven's golden gates and issue forth.
Unlock heaven's golden gates and issue forth.
Awake the dawn that sleeps in heaven.
Awake the dawn that sleeps in heaven.
Shri Mataji, Queen of Light, O Holy Virgin, clad in purest white. Shri Mataji, Queen of Light, O Holy Virgin, clad in purest white. Let the light rise from your realm, the chambers of the east.
Let the light rise from your realm, the chambers of the east.
Shrimataji, you are our Mona.